What's up, Bama Nation? You already know who it is. It's Kara Witt, and you are tuned in to the Crimson Watch, where we watch the Tide roll. Well, this weekend, we watched the Crimson Tide at A-Day, our first A-Day under the DeBoer era. And I must say, I don't know how I feel about it, but don't worry about it. We're going to talk it out. We're going to talk about it, unpack it right here on the Crimson Watch. So stay tuned. So first and foremost, I'm not going to go into, the actual spring practice. I think you guys have heard enough of that on a lot of different other channels, people analyzing what they saw, probably some overreactions. What I am going to talk about, however, is the feeling of A-Day. What I felt as a fan, seeing the team, seeing the 72,000 people that packed it out, and what I was hearing from the fans, the kind of energy. My biggest thing that I was looking for is I was doing a temperature check on the fans. I wanted to see who would show up. I wanted to see if we would be able to come out and support the team like we supported the team when Nick Saban was there, and we did. Tenfold. I mean, the approximate numbers, I'm not sure. I know it was over 72,000 fans that showed up to Bryant-Denny. Now, to some people, that may be, well, that's not the same as when Nick Saban came in 2007 and it was 92,000. See, you got to consider all things. Now, let's put this into perspective here. When Nick Saban came in 2007, gas was about $2.82 a gallon. Gas is now in Alabama about $3.89 or so a dollar and some change. So when you factor in the fact that gas costs more money, more people are able to stream the game. You have so many different streaming sites that are available for people. It's easier to access. I mean, for 70,000 fans to come out and physically put butts in seat, that is a huge deal in 2024 compared to 17 years prior when there were 92,000. So that's nothing to sneeze at. Because I saw some publications saying that, it was kind of a letdown. I'm just like, how in the world is 70,000 fans showing up physically in the blistering heat at Bryant-Denny? How is that lackluster? That's crazy to me. So factor in those things and to understand that is phenomenal that fans will show up and support the team, support the new coach in this new era. That was amazing to me. So I am proud of you, Bama Nation, for showing up, because you got to keep in mind that, we've been through it, with the Coach Saban retiring January 10th, everybody jumping in and out of the transfer portal. We kind of had whiplash. We was looking back and forth, and we were just going through. We were kind of beat up. So we needed something to hold on to. We needed something to look forward to, which is why A-Day was so important, which is why I think so many fans showed up. And again, did I mention the heat? I don't know. If you've never been to Bryant-Denny Stadium in the spring or the summertime, it is extremely hot in that dome-shaped stadium, okay? Now, one side of the stadium was in the shade, so they were good pretty much the majority of the game. But on the right side where we were, it was blistering hot, okay? Next time, I'm going to be very much prepared. It reminded me why I don't go to the games in August and September, because it's too hot. Alabama is too hot. But nonetheless, for the majority of the fans stayed to the end of the game, and we showed out and we represented. And I'm so proud of the Tide fans for just being there. At the A-Day, they represented, they gave a special mention and recognition to the basketball team because they deserve it. We definitely don't want to forget them. And, they gave some special attention to them. Mark Sears was in the crowd, just showing love to the fans, taking pictures and everything. So it was wonderful. The energy was really high there, and I really enjoyed myself. The overall temperature that I got from the fans was optimism, excitement. It's the first time that Alabama fans have been together since a few months. So everybody was really very optimistic. They was very interested in what the team was going to show. Everybody was wanting to see Coach Kalen DeBoer and wanted to see how he mixed and meshed with the team, how he coaches. Of course, we didn't see that same fire that Coach Saban would normally bring to a spring game. But Coach DeBoer, he has his own method. He has his own technique, and that's some things we're going to have to get used to. And understand that Coach Kalen DeBoer has his own style of coaching, and we got to get on board with that. A lot of fans were very much open-minded. For me especially, I just really wanted to see what the team looked like and not put too much into it and not take too much away from it, because you got to take it with a grain of salt. What we saw at the spring game is just a bare bones beginning stages of what this team is going to eventually turn into. And I saw some flashes of some things, a lot of things that I like. Again, I don't want to go into too much about the actual spring game, because there are a lot of other places where you can watch, and a lot of people do a great job analyzing the spring game. But for me, I just wanted to really just to touch on the fans and the energy of the stadium and the fandom of it. Some things I did hear from fans are saying that they didn't like the Walk of Champions. Of course, Bama Nation, we all know what the Walk of Champions is. And if you haven't been to a Bama game ever in your life, the Walk of Champions is when the players and the coaches get off the bus and they walk down with fans on the left and the right, and they walking down the paved walkway with all of the championships that Alabama has won. And it's an opportunity for the fans to be able to see the players prior to going into the stadium. Well, those fans waited for over 2 hours in the heat, waiting for the team to come down and do the Walk of Champions, because they wanted to see Coach DeBoer. And, they wanted to see the Walk of Champions for the first time without Nick Saban. And they wanted to see the coach. They wanted to see Jalen Milroe. They wanted to see the captains out there to do their thing. And unfortunately, they only got to see, I don't want to say only got to see the team, but they saw the team come down. And I think Justice Hayes was one of the ones that was in the front. But Coach Kalen DeBoer did not walk with the team. And some people had an issue with that. I think it might be because it was a spring practice. I'm hoping that he does walk with the team, once the game starts, because that's part of tradition. And, we want to see him walk with the team. Like, that's part of the whole Walk of Champions. It's like, it gets you pumped up for the game, and it's cool to see the players. So I kind of wanted to see that. And a lot of fans, wanted to see Coach Kalen DeBoer lead the team out. But, they didn't. But I'm just going to chalk it up because the fact that it was a spring game. But some people did want to see that, and they did not get that opportunity after waiting so long in the heat. But that was only one of the kind of negative things that I did hear. I don't think Jalen Milroe walked out with them either. But to be fair, they were also at Denny Chimes putting their cleat and their handprint in the cement. So they were over there doing that. And, they came back, I think, probably earlier than the team. And so Milroe was already in the stadium warming up before they even did the Walk of Champions. So, I just think it was just kind of maybe a mix up in time frames or whatever. But again, it's a spring game. It's not an actual game. So they definitely will be there once the season starts, when we're definitely going to see Milroe. And I'm hoping Coach DeBoer walk out with the team. And speaking of Denny Chimes, Nick Saban did give his speech over there. He spoke a little bit. And the fans were pumped up to see him. It was so surreal just to see him there, not being a coach, but just being a fan. Like he said, he was like, I'm one of y'all now. Like, coach, that's crazy. You will always be our coach, whether you are on the sidelines or not. So it was just nice to see him on A-Day, even though he wasn't going to be out there coaching those guys up. It was good to still see that, we still have a place in his heart at Alabama. So the game, the spring game itself, watching the game, I think with this new format, the consensus that I got is that the fans were kind of confused. Everybody was kind of confused with the format. We didn't know what was really going on. They didn't have the timer. There were no quarters really. So I think everybody was just kind of like lost on what was going on. It was kind of hard to follow. People were just kind of trying to keep up to figure out what was going on. Obviously, we saw the big plays. We saw a lot of drop passes. We saw the defense be very porous. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. This is spring practice. We don't even know if these same people are going to be on the team come tomorrow. Or even in the fall. We don't know anything. So I do think that the offense is going to be very dynamic. And with that 1-2 punch with Justice and Jam Miller at running back, and then we're going to have the firepower on the in the passing game. Come on, man. I mean, we are going to be unstoppable on offense. But again, like I said, it is bare bones. So, but just taking glimpses of what I saw, I can tell that offense is going to be very fast. And defense is probably going to take some time. They're going to probably have to catch up like they normally do. It's going to take some time for the defense to gel. But I think they're going to get it together. I'm not going to I'm not going to count them out too. I'm not going to count them out too early, especially with the spring game. We got 4 or 5 months before the season starts, and what we saw during that spring game is going